Good morning. Welcome to the Treasure House, where we deliver Saturday morning yoga, power yoga, every Saturday at 8:30 a.m. outside at the Treasure House. I just did a little tour earlier, and I'm going to be posting that on all of the mountain groups, and also on my website. Well, not my website. I'll post a link to my website, but I will post it on my Kathleen Coombs yoga page. So I am Kathleen Coombs, also going by a subname of Yoga Mountain Gal. So you'll see that when you pull up my website. And every Saturday morning I'm here at this wonderful location. My yoga schedule is on Monday mornings. I have chair yoga at 6 a.m. delivered by Zoom. Wednesday mornings, I offer gentle yoga, mostly on the floor, 6 a.m. also by Zoom. Thursday, I offer traditional Hatha Vinyasa flow. If I can teach inside in the future, I may deliver here at the Treasure House. We have a space designated inside, and that is delivered at 7 p.m. also by Zoom. And then on Saturday mornings, I am here. I offer these classes in person outside, but I also record them and deliver them by Zoom live. Every Monday night on Facebook Live and on Zoom, I also offer a free 1-hour session of meditation and light yoga called Getting Ready for Bed Yoga. So please join me on the mat. So the theme this week for yoga is the throat chakra. I've been teaching a series of classes centered around these 7 main energy centers of the body, starting with the root chakra at the base of the spine, the sacral chakra just below the belly button, the solar plexus chakra located right here in the center of the abdomen, above the belly button and under the ribs, the heart chakra right in the center of the chest, the throat chakra, the third eye chakra between your eyebrows, and then ultimately the crown chakra. Each chakra has special properties and aspects of our being that they govern. And so I like to give a little bit of information about each of those, tips for living and tips for balancing out those chakras. I apologize for that shade that's coming over. Eventually the sun's going to move and I'll probably be more shaded and less sun, or maybe I'll be more sunned. Either way, I see that diagonal line across my body, but I know that the audio is good because I bring this to you through my ear pods. So the throat chakra, located obviously right at the throat, is the chakra that governs your communication, either verbal or nonverbal communication. And an aspect of communication is of living our truth, being honest with ourselves and being honest with the world around us and the people that inhabit that world, and being able to communicate our truth in ways that we can be heard. So sometimes in communicating our truth, we might withhold it a little bit because maybe what we have to say needs a little time to be finessed. Or maybe withholding our truth has other negative consequences on our health and our well-being. So, but it's all about living your truth, living your real authentic life, and being able to communicate that. Also, in the center of this chakra is the thyroid gland, which, as you know, affects all the other the whole endocrine system. So when the throat chakra is out of balance, it can affect the health of your entire body. And some indicators in terms of physical health that it could be out of balance would be thyroid problems and other glandular, endocrine difficulties. It can be neck pain, shoulder pain, upper back pain, headaches. So getting this chakra into balance is important. So today we will have a lot of heart opening, chest opening, throat opening poses thrown in. So you'll see a lot of back bending in today's practice. So now that we are sitting and have been sitting for a moment, I would like you to close your eyes and start to focus on your breath. Close your mouth and start to breathe in and out of your nose. Drawing cool air in and exhaling warm air out. As you breathe in and out, I invite you to think about the location of your chakra right there at the center of your throat. And as you breathe in and you breathe out, let's begin the Ujjayi breath, slightly constricting your throat so that the air that passes over your throat warms up. You might hear this breath sounding a little bit like the Darth Vader breath. And as you breathe in and out, I would like you to expand your belly and expand your ribs. Breathe in again. And on your next breath, grow your breath all the way to the crown of your head. Let's integrate some movement with breath. Raise your arms up. And then exhale, lower them down. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, lower them down. Inhale, hands out and up. And then on your exhale, go ahead and lean forward, hinging at the hips. And then if it's available to, drop your hands to the ground and go ahead and walk your hands forward. Stretching out the space on the back of your hips, maybe a gentle stretching of your lower spine. We're just warming up the back, so take your time. One more inhale. Go ahead and walk your hands back. Change the orientation of your feet. So I'm sitting in Sukhasana right now with my right foot in front of my left. I'm going to put my right foot behind me. Inhale your hands up. Exhale them down. Inhale up. Exhale down. And then inhale up again. Exhale, lean forward, hands to the ground. Inhale. And then on your exhale, walk your hands forward. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And then exhale, walk your hands back. I'm going to go ahead and remove this bolster that I've been sitting on. Sometimes it's nice to begin your practice if you're sitting elevated on something, because when you are, then you can allow your hips to nicely open up. Because at the beginning of our practice, our body is a little bit stiff. But I'm going to go over to my hands and knees now. Oops, I found something under the mat. Hold on. I cleaned up this area before I got here, but you know, I'm in nature. Okay, so setting up in tabletop position. So when you're in tabletop, I'd like your hands to be directly underneath your shoulders. Widen your collarbones, draw your belly button into your spine and lengthen your sideways as you draw your tailbone back in space and draw the crown of your head forward. Feel the strength of that pose. And then on the inhale, let's go into cow, lifting up the sits bones, lifting up the heart center. And then on the exhale, reverse that into cat, drawing the back up to the sky, allowing your shoulders to round and your tailbone to drop down. Inhale, reverse that, dropping the belly, lifting up the heart center, drawing the shoulders back and down. And then exhale, reverse that into cat, drawing the spine up to the sky. Inhale, drop the belly, raise the hips, raise the heart center. And then exhale, reverse that. Let's do that one more time. Inhaling the heart center up, inhaling the hip bones up into space. And then exhale, draw your spine up to the sky, dropping your chin, dropping your tailbone. Return on the inhale to neutral, back to that neutral tabletop strong position. We're going to go into sunbird pose, and we're not going to do it in phases. We're just going to go straight in because this is our power class. So go ahead and raise your right hand up, raise your left foot up. Toes are flexed, pointed towards the mat. Pull your arm back into the shoulder socket as you reach your hand forward. Continue to draw your belly button in against the spine. Reaching your foot behind you as you reach your hand in front of you. One more inhale. And then on the exhale, drop both your knee and drop your right hand. Raise up your right foot, raise up your left hand. Toes pointed to the floor. Left hand reaching forward. Draw your belly button again into the spine. Creating maximum space, strengthening all of those muscles all along your back. One more inhale, and then exhale, lower those down. Now we're going to go back into sunbird on the left side. So left foot up, right hand up. Go ahead and inhale. And then on the exhale, reach behind, grab your left foot with your right hand and kick your left foot into your hand, opening up your heart, opening up your shoulder, opening up the throat. Continue to work that, lifting your foot and your hand ever higher. One more inhale. And then on the exhale, drop those down. Loud truck behind us. Inhale, raise up your right foot, raise up your left hand. And then on your exhale, reach behind, grab your left foot, kick your foot into your hand, your foot ever higher, stretching out your left shoulder, opening up your heart center, opening up the throat. One more inhale. Let's go into cow again. And then on the exhale, release into cat. Inhale into cow. And then exhale into cat. One more inhale into cow. Exhale into cat. Tuck your toes and move back into downward facing dog. The first one of the day. Rise your hips nice and high. Draw your heart center down to the mat, pushing the mat away with your hands. It's okay to have your knees deeply bent in this first one of the day. We are just warming up the spine. And then go ahead and pedal your feet out. One and then another. Straightening one leg, bending the other. And then take your time walking small steps all the way up to your hands. I'm going to turn slightly so that you see my side body and the front at the same time. Go ahead and bend your legs deeply and allow your torso to lie over your legs. Drop your crown and grab your elbows. Create some space between your feet, widen them to about hip width, and go ahead and sway back and forth. We're still just warming up the spine, getting it ready for the power poses that are to follow. All righty, go ahead and drop your hands to the ground. We call this ragdoll. Dropping your crown, allowing the weight of your head to take all the tension out of your neck. You can go ahead and twist your head in any direction that works for you. Feel that there's no tension, nothing stopping it. And then on your inhale, bend your legs deeply and curl all the way up, allowing your hands to hang, keeping your chin to your chest. When you arrive at the top, inhale your shoulders up and back down on your spine. Turn your hands forward for a strong mountain pose. For alignment cues, remember to keep your shoulders stacked beautifully over your hips. Bring your head back in space so that everything is lined up along the back plane. Inhale your hands up to the sky. Exhale your hands down. Inhale your hands up. Exhale your hands down. One more inhale up. Have a little back bend when you arrive at the top. And then on the exhale, swan dive forward, hands out to the side, hinging at the hips. Fold over your legs. They can be bent, they can be straight, whatever your choice is. When you have brought your torso to your legs, leading with the heart center, then go ahead and allow your crown to drop. Inhale into a flat spine, pushing against your shins as you draw the crown of your head forward, creating a letter L with your body. And then exhale, drop your body, drop your crown. Inhale, reverse swan dive all the way up to the top. Exhale your hands to prayer. Take a moment to think about how you feel. Assess what your body is feeling now that we have started to warm up the body. The color of this chakra is a light blue or a turquoise. So today I did wear a color in honor of that. So as you imagine your throat chakra, I'd like you to imagine it glowing in a shade of pale blue, very light blue, or aqua, or turquoise. So you can imagine those colors, the stones that are associated with it would be turquoise or aquamarine. Inhale. Exhale, drop your hands down. Inhale your hands up. Exhale, swan dive forward, hands to the ground. Inhale into a flat spine. Place your hands flat on the ground, move back into a plank pose. Hold this plank pose for 3 breaths. Drawing your heart center forward as you pull your heels back, drawing your belly button in against the spine, widen those collarbones by pulling your shoulder blades onto the back. One more, inhale. Exhale, draw your elbows into your ribs as you lower Chaturanga Dandasana, and then inhale into low cobra. Exhale down. Inhale, raise up your shoulders, pulling them down on your backs as you rise into low cobra. Exhale down. Inhale, rise up your shoulders to your ears, bring them down on your back as you rise up into low cobra. Tuck your toes, move back briefly into child's pose. I want you to remember in child's pose, if you ever feel, just overextended, out of touch with your breath, needing to reconnect, needing to recharge, you can always drop back into child's pose. It is always available to you. One more inhale. And then on your exhale, let's go ahead and tuck our toes, move back again into downward facing dog. And now in downward facing dog, you might find that you can extend a little bit more. Your legs might still be bent, but less bent. Your heels might be reaching for the ground. Either way, make sure that you're creating that upside down V, that upside down triangle using, well, actually a regular triangle, creating a triangle with your body, if you will, in this downward facing dog, drawing your heart center towards the ground, extending your shoulders, a continuous, beautiful long line from your hips all the way to your wrists. One more inhale, exhale. Inhale, place your left foot in the center of the mat. Rise your right foot up as high as you would like to go into 3-legged dog. Continue to push the floor away, moving your hips back in space. Inhale, rise your leg higher, and then open up your hips, drawing your left foot back towards your buttocks. Lifting your knee higher up in space as you stack your right hip over your left, slightly arching your back. And then we're going to go ahead and flip the dog. So it's not always pretty when I do it, but I'm going to keep my knee up high. Whoops, see, I always have to drop my hips a little bit to get into it. And then lift up your hips. So my left hand is on the floor. I'm into an upward bow position. My right hand is trailing behind me, extended. Heart center is open, back is arched. Opening up my left shoulder. One more inhale, and then exhale. Go ahead and lift out of that, back to your three-legged dog. And then exhale, drop that right foot. Move back into downward facing dog. Inhale, lift up your left leg. Lift it up as high as you want in that three-legged dog. Continue to push the ground away, pushing your hips back in space. Inhale, lift that leg higher, and then open up your hips. Stacking your left hip on top of your right. Continue to push the mat away as you bend your left knee, drawing your left heel towards your buttocks. Lifting that knee up higher in space. And then to move into that three-legged dog, we keep that knee lifted up. I think it was a little bit easier on that side. And again, I'm in that upward bow position. My left hand extended out behind me. My right hand is on the mat, opening up my right shoulder. Lift up your hips as high as you can get them. One more inhale. Exhale. I've got a fly that is really interested in me today. Back to that three-legged dog. And then exhale. Allow your left foot to drop to the ground. Push back into your downward facing dog. One more inhale. Exhale fully. Inhale, rise your right leg up. Exhale, bring it in between your hands. Rise up into Anjaneyasana or runner's lunge. Go ahead and straighten out your left leg behind you. You're up on your toes. Your heel is lifted off the mat. Your right foot is stomped onto the mat. You have a nice deep bend in your right leg, a nice deep bend in your right hip. Go ahead and rise your hands up, maybe curl back slightly. And then on the exhale, go ahead and open up into Warrior Two. In Warrior Two, push your hips slightly forward as you draw your right knee back, engaging all of those muscles on the back of your hip. Pull your shoulder blades together, looking out over your right hand. And then go ahead and reverse that into Humble Warrior, keeping your hips nice and low, continuing to engage those muscles on the back of your hips, your gluteus muscles. Keep your hips open, drawing your knee towards your baby toes. I'm looking at this gorgeous oak tree above me. The sky is so blue. The leaves are so green right now. Inhale, reach your hand up as high as you can, creating a nice stretch from your hip all the way up your ribs. And then on the exhale, let's go down into extended side angle. You can have your hand on your knee, but I'm placing mine on the ground on the inside of my foot. Initially, I have my left hand to the sky. I'm going to drop my knee so that I have a better side angle pose, a more extended side angle. And then I'm going to go ahead and draw my left hand, my left arm alongside my left ear to create that extension. And then I'm going to draw my left shoulder back slightly to expose my heart center. And then I'm going to open up my throat. One more inhale. Exhale, circle your hand down and back up into Warrior Two. Inhale, and then exhale. Hands on either side of your right foot. Bring your right foot back to join your left. Setting up again for plank pose. Let's go on to the right side. So drawing our right hand underneath our chest or underneath our right shoulder. Pivot to the outside of your right foot. Placing your left hand on your hip. You can place your left hand now up to the sky. Continue to lift those hips. Draw your shoulder blades together on your back. If you want, if you're feeling adventurous, open up your throat by dipping your head back. One more inhale. And then on your exhale, go ahead and drop your left hand to the ground. Inhale to set up for Chaturanga. And then exhale down, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, pulling it forward to upward facing dog. And then on your exhale, rolling over your toes into downward facing dog. Feel that extension. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale fully. Inhale, bring your left leg up as high as you like to go. Exhale, bring it in between your foot, in between your hands. Rise up again into Anjaneyasana. So now you get the left-sided view of my body. I thought of changing my angle on the mat. On this round mat, I'm able to show you any angle that makes it easier for you, the viewer. So it's a wonderful, wonderful tool for teaching. But sometimes it's nice to see the backside of the instructor also. So you'll be getting a lot of my backside in the next few moves in this flow. So go ahead and drop your hips down by bending your left knee more deeply, stamping your left foot into the earth. You're up high on your toes. Your right leg is behind you, strong and straight. Reach your hands up to the sky. Open up the heart center. Maybe curl back slightly. Oops, I'm losing my balance on this hill. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, open up into Warrior Two. So in Warrior Two, you have a nice deep bend in your left knee as you're drawing the outside of your knee towards your pinky toes, engaging these muscles in order to do so. So kind of drawing these muscles back together. Lifting your hands up, parallel to the ground, at shoulder height. Draw your shoulder blades together and pull your belly button in. And then continue to deepen the pose, maintaining all of that alignment, keeping your hips open. One more inhale. Then on your exhale, go ahead and move back into Peaceful Warrior. However, keep your hips in the same spot. A lot of times people will start to straighten out that leg and lift their hips up. Nope, keep it down. It might be hard. Your thigh might really be working. It might even be screaming. Remember, this is just a moment in time. But if you do need to back out, you have that freedom. Inhale, reach your hand high. And then exhale, let's set up for extended side angle. I'm placing my left hand on the mat on the inside of my left foot. Dropping my hips slightly more. Raising my hand up to the sky. And then drawing it alongside my right ear. My right arm is alongside my right ear. I'm dropping my hips slightly more so that you have a nice, beautiful line that looks like a dart from the ankle all the way to the wrist. And then go ahead and draw your heart center back by opening up that shoulder. Maybe dropping your head back to expose your throat. Inhale. Exhale. One more inhale. Exhale, circle your hands down and back up. One more inhale. And then exhale. Bring your hands down on either side of your left foot. Bring your left foot back to join your right. Place your left hand underneath your heart center or underneath your shoulder. Swivel over to the left. So you're going to see my back side. Placing my right hand on the hips. Push the hips up into that hand. Draw your right shoulder back and then lift your hand up to the sky. One more inhale. And then exhale, drop your right hand to the ground. Setting up for Chaturanga. Inhale. Exhale, lower Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale into upward facing dog. And then exhale into downward facing dog. Oh, feel that stretch. Give yourself a few breaths to connect and catch your breath. Continue to push the floor away. Continue to push your hips up in space and back. Creating extension as much as you can. One more inhale. And then exhale, rise up your right leg again. Exhale it in between your hands in the front. So right foot between your hands. Rise up again into Anjaneyasana. So what we're going to do next is go into some twists. So inhale, reach your hands high to the sky. Exhale, bring your hands in a circle down into prayer. Inhale. On your exhale, turn your body to the right without doing anything yet. So make sure that you have a nice twist. You can even test your twist by bringing your hands out to either side. Bringing them back into heart center. Inhale. And then exhale, fold over your right leg. Your elbow might already be on the outside of your right leg. And then go ahead and push your hands together as you engage that twist. Generate that twist from the core. So continue to draw your right shoulder back, curling into that twist, and bringing your left shoulder forward. And then if you want to open it up, you can place your left hand on the ground, right hand to the sky. One more inhale. And then on the exhale, go ahead and switch your hands out. Place your right hand on the floor on the outside of your right foot. Pivot your foot down so that your heel is now on the ground, and then go ahead and rise up again into that extended side angle. And then go ahead, drop your left hand down, move back, right foot to join your left. Inhale, exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale into upward facing dog. Exhale into downward facing dog. Rise your left foot up to the sky. Exhale, bring it in between your hands. Rise up into Anjaneyasana. Inhale, extend your hands up to the sky. Exhale, bring them in a circle down to heart center. And let's do that twist again, this time with just our hands out to the sides. So on your inhale, go ahead and engage that twist. So remember that motion as we go into the twisted version of Anjaneyasana. Go ahead and bring your hands back to heart center. Inhale. And then on the exhale, go ahead and fold over your left leg, right elbow on the outside of your right knee. Push your hands together as you draw your left shoulder back, using your core muscles to fold more deeply into that twist. Drawing your left shoulder back as you draw your right shoulder forward. One more inhale. And then on the exhale, drop your left hand down to the floor. Pivot your right heel down as we open up again into that extended side angle. And on the exhale, drop your right hand down. Bring your left foot back to join your right. Inhale. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale into upward facing dog. Exhale into downward facing dog. Oh my gosh, that feels so good, but I have more fun for you. Inhale, rise your right leg up. Exhale, bring your foot in between your hands. Leave your left hand on the mat as we just go into an easy twist. Draw your right hip back as you bring your left hip forward to increase the stretch along your right hip. Very lovely. And then we're going to go ahead, trace our hands out from our toes about 10 inches. Using the strength of your right leg, lift up. Have your right foot at hip height, out behind you, toes pointed towards the ground. Take your left hand and place it on your left hip and then open up those hips. So we are now standing in half moon. A fully extended version of half moon is to bring your hand up to the sky, open up the heart center, maybe open up your throat. Continue to work your left foot up to hip height or slightly higher as you open up your hips. Bring your shoulder blades together on your back to create a little arch of your upper spine. And then go ahead and exhale. Bend both of your legs as you reach back and grab your left foot behind you. Straighten out your left leg. Moving into sugar cane. Pulling your left knee back in space. Curling your spine. Continue to open up your hips. Pushing your hips slightly forward to engage that curl. One more inhale. And then on the exhale, go ahead and release that. Place your left hand on the floor beside you. Open up into standing split. Exhale, bend your right leg. Bring your left foot back in space. Open up into warrior two. Inhale. Exhale, straighten out your right leg. We are setting up for triangle. One more inhale. And then exhale, tilt into your triangle. Ha. Pushing back against that invisible wall behind you, tilting your tailbone down. Rotating your right thigh inside of your hip bone so that your knees are facing, your right knee is facing the sky. And then if you want to, go ahead and open up your throat. Pulling your left shoulder back in space so that it's over your right shoulder. One more inhale. Exhale, take your left hand, drop it to the mat, bend your right leg, pull it back so that we are now in Palakasana plank. Inhale. Exhale, lower Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale into upward facing dog. Exhale back into downward facing dog. Your right leg got quite a stretch there. Be gentle and kind to it. One more inhale. Fully exhale. Inhale, lift your left leg up. Exhale, bring it in between your hands. I think that we did easy twist on this side to start. So in your easy twisted pose, bring your right leg forward as you bring your left hip back. Very lovely. Inhale. And then exhale. Trace your left hand out from your toes, about 10 to 12 inches, and go ahead and rise up, bringing your right foot to hip height. Bring your right hand to your right hip. Once you have found your balance, go ahead and open up that hip. I need to move back on the mat slightly because I'm on this hill. So I'm actually going to do it this way. Okay. So go ahead and open up. Draw your shoulders back in space. So pushing your body in this half moon pose against that invisible wall behind you. And then once you have touched that wall with both your shoulders, go ahead and rise up your right hand. Draw your belly button into the spine as you open up your hips, pushing them forward. Maybe if you want, you can open up your throat. One more inhale. Then exhale, bend both of your legs as you reach back and grab your right foot to set up for sugar cane. Straighten out your left leg again, drawing your right hip back in space. Opening up your right shoulder. Creating an arch, creating a circle. This is also sometimes called full moon pose. One more inhale. Exhale, return back to half moon. Drop your right hand to the ground and then go ahead and open up into standing splits. Exhale, bend your right leg. Dropping back, opening up into warrior two. And then straighten out your left leg in the front. Inhale. And then exhale, drop into triangle. So in triangle, remembering again to rotate your left leg so that your knee is facing the sky. So you're rotating it inside your hip bone. Draw your right shoulder back in space so that you press your body against that invisible wall behind you, which is accomplished by dropping your tailbone and pulling your shoulders back. Maybe you can open up your throat again. One more inhale. And then exhale, go ahead and return your right hand to the floor. Bend your left knee. Bring your left foot back to join your right. We are now in Palakasana or plank pose. Inhale. Exhale, lower Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale into upward facing dog. Exhale into downward facing dog. So I did this flow the other night in preparation for today. A lot of times what you will see is you will see elements of my Thursday class weaved right into my Saturday morning class, only maybe with faster transitions, longer holds, or adding in twists or other strength poses as part of the flow. One more inhale. Exhale, bend your legs, and then hop up to your hands. That wasn't the most graceful hop I've ever engaged in. Inhale into a flat spine. Exhale down. Inhale, rise all the way up. And then exhale, bring hands to heart center. Let me just adjust all of my clothing that has moved. That was a lot of twisting and turning. So now we're just going to do a couple more standing poses and then we'll set up for our floor portion of our flow today. So I'm going to turn towards the camera slightly. We're going to go ahead and throw in a dancer's pose because a dancer's pose is a pose that makes you feel so free, so wonderful. It opens up the heart, it opens up the throat, it opens up the hips, and it's playful and a joyful pose. So go ahead, find your center, create your roots on the ground. So lift up all of your toes, make sure that all 3 points of your feet are in firm contact with the ground, and then go ahead and lower your toes. You're establishing your roots here. Kick back and grab your right foot with your right hand. Place your left hand above your head. Arm is alongside your left ear. And then just start to kick back as you allow your heart center to draw forward. Kicking as high as feels good to you, as high as feels available to you. Think of it like a balancing scale. As you lift up your leg, you extend your hand. Inhale, rise up. And exhale with control, lower that leg. Bring your hands to heart center. Setting up for the other side. Go ahead and make sure your roots are firmly established on the ground with your right leg. Kick back and draw your left leg into your left hand. Rise your right hand up to the sky, drawing your right arm alongside your right ear. Pause for just a moment. And then when you were ready, start to kick your left leg into your left hand as you draw your heart center forward and naturally down. Think of it like a scale. As you rise your left leg up into the air, your heart center draws down more. And I just lost my balance because of this hill. It's a real challenge to do yoga outside on uneven surfaces. It doesn't look like I'm on a hill, but I am on quite a grade. Go ahead and release out of that pose. And then left down, foot down. I would have said with control, but I lost control again on the heel. But that's okay. So let's go ahead. I'm going to face the camera now. We're going to do one final standing pose. It's a strength pose. It involves seating and twisting in a way. So I want you to inhale your hands up. On the exhale, go ahead and sit back. into chair pose, okay? And then root your left foot, take your right leg, cross it over your left. If you want to, you can curl your toes behind your calf. Continue to keep that strong sitting position. Now create those roll out arms. Take your right hand, make it go underneath your left. Twist your arms into eagle arms. Keep your shoulders back, sitting deeply as you lift up your elbows and draw them forward. Find a fixed point beyond your arms. So right now you probably don't see my face, but I am looking out beyond my arms, out the right side of them. One more inhale. Exhale, gradually unravel your arms, bring them up to the sky, and then unravel your legs. Lower your hands down, catch your breath, hands at heart center. One more inhale. Exhale. Inhale your hands down and up. Exhale back into chair pose again. Root your right foot deeply, pick up your left foot and cross it over your right. If you desire, go ahead and curl your toes behind your calf. Sit down lower, create your elbow arm or your robot arms, and then weave your left arm underneath your right, twisting your arms into eagle. Again, draw your shoulders back as you sink your hips low, and then pull your elbows up and forward. And the hill again. Okay. Find your fixed point out into the distance. One more inhale. Exhale, release your hands, rise them up, stand up, unravel your legs, and then place your hands down and at heart center, inhale. Exhale. One more inhale. Exhale. Let's just do a flow so that we can find ourselves in a seated position. Inhale our hands up. Exhale our hands down. Go ahead and rise into flat spine on the inhale. Exhale, move back into Chaturanga, Dandasana, lowering down, and then inhale into upward facing dog. Exhale into downward facing dog. Inhale. Exhale, drop your knees. Let's go into hero. So placing our knees together as we separate our legs. I'm gonna actually, well, I'll stay in this position, but I'm on a hill here. So I'm actually deepening the pose of my knees because the hill is sloping up and my butt is down here. But in this pose, you are really stretching out all the ligaments of your knee. It's good to do deep knee bends as part of your yoga routine to bring synovial fluid into the joint, to loosen the joint. Even if you have to do a modification of this pose by, say, sitting on a block, I'll show you that modification. Even if you're doing that, you're still helping your knees. But I'm gonna go ahead and sit back down because I have good flexible knees. And I'll just sit here for a moment. One more inhale. And then exhale, go ahead and lean forward. I think what I'm gonna do is actually, I'm gonna change my direction because sitting on the downhill slope is not easy. Okay, so we're setting up now for staff pose. Staff pose is just like doing mountain pose. Only in staff pose, you're just in a letter L, but your shoulders should be doing the same things and your head should be doing the same thing as it was when you were standing in Tadasana. Shoulders stacked over your hips, head in alignment with your shoulders. Just enjoy this pose. Enjoy the strength of this movement. So So go ahead and move your hips down. And we're gonna go ahead and set up, well, I wanna do one more chest and throat opening pose. So why don't we do bridge pose? So go ahead, bring your heels up to your buttocks, placing your hands on the mat. You might wiggle your shoulders so that you have some space so your shoulder blades are directly underneath your shoulders. And then on the inhale, I want you to inhale. And on the exhale, just tilt your tailbone. So you're lifting your sits bones off the mat, but you have not lifted your hips off the mat yet. Continue to draw your knees forward. Keep your legs parallel to one another. And just feel that sensation of hollowing out the belly and lifting up your sits bones. And then the exhale, go ahead and release that back down. Allow your pelvis bowl to shift back down so that your sits bones are moving towards the mat again. Inhale, and then on the exhale, go ahead and lift them up again. This time, start to lift your hips off the floor. Just do a little bit of a lift. Maybe you're lifting them up 1 to 2, maybe 3 inches. Draw your hips forward as you're doing that, creating length in the front of your body, hollowing out your belly, and continue to move your hips forward, move your knees forward, which allows your hips to rise up. And then go ahead and drop that all back down. Inhale and exhale. Exhale. And then on your inhale, draw your knees forward, lift up your hips, and then continue to lift up your hips as you draw your knees forward. When you're drawing your knees forward, it starts to engage your hamstrings, and it starts to engage all of the muscles on the top of your legs, your quadriceps. So continue to use that motion of those leg muscles and your knees moving forward to rise up your hips. So the motion is actually coming from your legs, but it does engage all of your butt muscles, which we also call the gluteus muscles. So gluteus muscles rather. So continue to lift up, just so you'll feel it here. You'll feel it in your legs, on the back and on the top. So continuing to move your knees in the direction of your toes. And then go ahead and lower it back down. So on the next rise up, we're going to clasp our hands together and draw our shoulders underneath our chest so that we can make room for the heart center to expose and for the throat to open up. So go ahead and inhale and exhale. Inhale, lift up your hips, pushing your knees forward, which engages your quads, engages your gluteus muscles, engages your hamstrings. Move your shoulder blades underneath your chest. Clasp your hands, and then continue to rise up as you move your knees forward. Keep your head neutral. Do not flatten your neck against the mat. And hold this as long as feels good to you. This is really, really, really good for your lower back. One more inhale, and then exhale, lower all of that down. Go ahead. Draw your knees into your chest. Go ahead and hug them tightly. And then go ahead and drop your knees to the ground. Place your hands out on either side. And then just go ahead and windshield wipe your knees. Starting to loosen up our hips. They've really worked hard today. I feel wonderful. The weather couldn't be more perfect. Remember last time I brought you this from the treasure box, how warm it was? Today, it's probably 10 degrees cooler. The sun is on me, but not burning me. I feel fantastic. Okay, keeping our hips still, our knees still right, rather. Go ahead and lift your knees up to the sky. So basically your shins to the sky. And push your knees slightly away from you. Place your hands behind your head and just go ahead and start pulsing up. Keep your knees further from your body. The further they are, the more your abdominal muscles have to work. And we're just doing a little bit of pulsing to strengthen our core muscles. You do as many as you want to. The key to a healthy back, healthy hips, healthy shoulders, healthy neck is a strong core. So always be working on strengthening your core. When you start to feel your back is tired, that's the time, that's the signal to let it go. So go ahead and lower down, arms out to either side, and drop your hips to the right. Recline, twist. Place your right hand on top of your left knee if you want to increase your twist. If you want to increase it even more, you can straighten out your legs and place your right ankle or your right shin inside of your right hand. Continue to tack your left elbow onto the mat. Looking out, did I say your left elbow? Your left shoulder, but your left elbow too. And then look out over your left shoulder to the left. One more inhale. And then on the exhale, bend your legs. Reach over on your left side for your left knee. And then with one fluid motion, turn your whole body to the center. Place hands out on either side, shins up to the sky again. Drop your knees to the left. Tacking your right shoulder onto the mat. Looking out over your right shoulder. If you want to increase the stretch on your hip here, go ahead and place your left hand on top of your right knee, or you can even straighten out your legs and hold your left shin or your left ankle in your left hand. Continue to tack your right shoulder onto the mat as you look out over your right hand. I've got the sun directly in my face. But my little friends, my flies, they have gotten bored of me and moved on. One more inhale. Exhale, bend your legs. Bring your right hand over to your right knee. In unison, move your knees and your body together. And let's set up for Shavasana. So you have your choice in Shavasana. You can have your feet on the mat, your knees facing towards the sky. You can put your feet together in Baddha Konasana, bound angle pose. Or if you want, you can straighten your legs all the way out to the ground. So I thought I was going to be bringing you music today, but I completely forgot to bring something to play music on. So you're just going to have to hear my magnificent voice as I settle you into your final resting pose of the day. Shavasana is so important. You need to calm your body down. You need to calm your nervous system down. You need to slow your breathing and your heart rate down and calm the mind. This allows you to integrate all the benefits of your practice and finish it on that calm yet energized note that we seek in yoga. Remember, yoga should make you feel good. I'm hoping that today this routine made you feel like you worked really hard, but that you feel very good at the end of it all. So let's go through a scan of the body. And what I want you to imagine is like you have a laser that is passing over your body like a light. And think of it like a very sharp edge. Once it passes over, it's going to relax all the muscles that it leaves behind as it continues forward to those that it hasn't yet touched. So get that laser in your mind and place it by your toes. And gradually move that laser up your toes, up the ball joints of your feet, up through your arches, towards the heel, passing over your ankle, passing over your lower shins, continuing to move up your shin bones, up toward your knees, passing over your knees and passing over your thighs, Continuing to move up towards your hips and towards your belly. Passing over your fingertips and your palms, your thumbs and your wrists. Passing over your forearms, up your elbows, and moving up towards your chest, towards your shoulder, up your neck, passing over your chin, scanning up your face, over your eyes, over your forehead, and finally passing over the crown of your head. Take note of how deeply relaxed all of those parts of the body now are. And meditate upon the throat chakra. Meditate upon what it means to live in and to speak your truth. What does it mean to be authentic in deed and in your communication? What does it mean to be authentically you and to communicate who that authentic you is out to the world around you? Rest in Shavasana for about 5 minutes, and I will bring you back with my voice. I would like you to start coming back into the present, wherever you drifted off to. I hope it was wonderful. I hear Aria barking. Start to integrate some movement. Maybe you want to stretch out. Maybe you want to wiggle your fingers and toes. Maybe you want to start to move your head, shaking it back and forth, nodding it up and down. Maybe you want to shrug your shoulders up to your ears, move around a little bit, and then I invite you to lay on one side or the other. And just rest there for a moment with your head on top of your arm. And then go ahead and rise up and join me in sitting. Keep your chin to chest until you rise all the way up. Inhale your shoulders up to your ears and back down. And then rise up your head and gently flutter your eyes open, keeping them in a low drishti gaze. Inhale your hands overhead. Exhale your hands down. Inhale your hands up. Exhale your hands down. And then one more inhale up. Exhale your hands to Ajna, your third eye, then to Anahata, your heart center. I hope that you have found this practice today at the Treasure House energizing, strengthening, and yet calming at the same time. My wish is that you'll take away from this practice reflection on speaking your own truth, reflection on how you can live your most authentic life, reflection on how you can reveal your most honest self to you and to the world around you. Inhale. Exhale, bow over your hands. The light in me sees the light in you. The yogi in me honors the yogi in you. Namaste. Now go off and have a beautiful, beautiful Saturday and Sunday here in the Southern California mountains, here in Crestline, where it is just beyond beautiful today.